Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today we got a new marathon by Scott Anderson. I'm super excited because he gave me the choice of choosing which songs to react to. Pretty much 2 marathons, and also the second marathon, which I ended up choosing, was a jazz marathon. And I even got the choice of reacting what songs, you know. So even I don't know them, but I pretty much tailored it to the more Warner Brothers, the better, right? So it doesn't get blocked. I want it to be on YouTube, and so I had one which was Return of the Kings, mostly 80s and 90s stuff, but which had some Elvis Costello, China Crisis, John Hyatt, Tom Petty, The Church. And since I've done so much Elvis Costello, I wanted to give some priorities to the jazz guys here. So we're going to do some Larry Carlton. Then we're going to do some The Crusaders and stuff like that. Michael Franks. So I went with your second choice here, Scott. So I'm gonna read what Scott of course provided me with, but first I wanted to say thank you everyone for being here. Thanks, Scott, for sponsoring this marathon. I know you wanted one with Alexia and me, or at least a video, but she's so busy and we don't have enough time, so you went for another one with only me. And then you also said maybe I could hook up, you know, the butte. Now the thing here is that I still don't know how to have I mean, I guess it could work, but I wanted to emphasize, you know, the best I could on the playing and not, you know, play anything in between. But I do have to figure out how to hook up the mic and then also run the guitar through, you know, the interface here. And I'm sure it's gonna work, but I just want to, you know, do this without the guitar for today. So but yeah, so this is marathon 2 called Larry and Joe and Mike 2. It says, I did not provide you much information, so not many spoilers. I love that. Larry Carlton on guitar. Check out my Larry Carlton solo by Steely Dan of Kid Charlemagne. It's on the channel. And Joe Sample on piano with the amazing Crusaders. Then their solo records, and both of them as session musicians on Michael Franks. Oh, wow. First, I didn't know that. On Michael Franks' first recording, The Art of Tea, I could have picked 100 different combinations for this marathon. So what I picked was so you gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 choices. I ended up with, we're gonna start it off with the Crusaders Chain Reaction from Chain Reaction, the album, and this is from 75. Then we're gonna do Larry Carlton from song called Double Cross from Firewire, right? Then we're gonna do Joe Sample, the Pecan Tree from the album of the same name. Then, since he's Warner Brothers, I wanted to do a little bit more from him. We're gonna do another Joe Sample, Hippies on a Corner from Old Places, Old Faces. And we're gonna start it, and we're gonna end it. I'm sorry. We're gonna end it with Michael Franks' Sometimes I Just Forget to Smile from The Art of Tea. And I think that's the album that my dad had, because yes, Eggplant, Monkey See, Monkey Do. I remember those songs vividly, because my mom would always giggle with the one Monkey See, that's what it is, peaches, you know, those, that line. So it says here, and there's not too much information. It says Michael Franks, Sometimes I Forget to Smile, The Art of Tea, a great rhythm section with Joe in one ear and Larry in the other, and Michael's silky voice. I totally agree. Then to the Crusaders, Chain Reaction, a good one for a Patreon maybe, like the full album, great player. And Larry Carlton, I mean, there's nothing to say about him. He's just a master, you know. We all know that. So that's it for the introduction. I'm not even, I was like, I'm missing something. But now I can take off my glasses. And I was like, yeah, I'm missing something. Everything. Is Marley here? Marley. So here we go. Oh, wow. I hope I was not screaming into the microphone. Let me just do this. Sorry, sir. I just fed you. I just fed you, sir. So, oh yeah, this is much better. Okay, so thank you again so much, Scott, for this wonderful idea. I just love jazz. I love these jazz marathons. And, you know, sooner or later, we'll have more jazz people listening to them. I know a lot of prog rock people love this stuff. And just, you know, the typical, jazz connoisseur is going to watch these videos and appreciate them. And I don't know a lot of reaction channels that do jazz, so I'm happy to be one of them who gets these requests. She is a beaut. And I just played with her for about 15 minutes. But I would spend about like 90 minutes just setting up this whole thing for it to work. And I just don't want it to not work, and then I'm going to get frustrated. So I'd rather just do the music right now. And then I promise you I'll record some good stuff, like maybe some solos or something that I've been doing lately with this guitar. But this guitar is so smooth. It's insane. The action and just the settings on this guitar are ridiculous. Wonderful. Like, I don't regret. Well, I never regret buying a guitar, but this one I'm extra happy with. And it just looks very fusiony. I don't know. It just looks very jazz fusion, this guitar, even the color and stuff. All right. So here we go with Chain Reaction by the Crusaders. Here we go. Wow. Nice. Wow, man. Wow, man. Love how they go down. Nice. Wow, what a track. So I'm really starting to like differentiate that Larry Carlton style, you know, like more and more, you know. I think it's not enough with Steely Dan, you know. Yes, Kid Charlemagne is an amazing solo, but it's just like 20 seconds or 30 seconds of him, and which, by the way, was completely improvised. You know, he didn't have any sort of plan going in. He just like improvised the solo. That's what came out, and he's very grateful. That I heard that in an interview that he was just, the notes were just on the right place, and what I played, you know, whatever came out was good, and then he's happy with it. And then they asked him like, so what did Donald say? What did Walter say? And they, oh, nothing. And, okay. You know, I guess, you know, at that level of musicianship, nothing is, it's just like, okay, it sounded amazing. Let's keep going, you know. There's not like, oh my god, you just played one of the most famous solos in fusion history. It was just like it just happened, and that's like the way he talks about it, which is crazy, because for us it's like, wow, this solo, and how did he come up with it? He didn't, he just played it, you know. He just instantly came up with it, you know, improvisation at its best, which is amazing. But I loved here how he played, you know, that palm muting that he does. I love that when guitar plays, you know, kind of like, because it is a way of, you know, toning down the whole thing. I love this entire bed, you know, of instruments, just the, you know, the bass and the keys, you know, just like putting it all together, giving, you know, the trumpet here, the trumpet, which is, I think, Joe Sample. I've never really heard of him. Oh no, he's the pianist, Joe Sample, and tenor saxophonist Wilton Felder. So who played the trumpet solo? Wait, I have it right here. I got it. So the saxophone, the trombone, it must have been the trombone. Then Wayne Henderson. The solo was just amazing. Saxophone and is that the bass? Wilton Felder, and then Larry on the guitar, and then Joe Sample on the piano, electric piano, synthesizer, and then Styx Hopper on the drums. So on this album that we just heard, I just loved how they kept it so tight. Oh, let me just turn off this light. They kept it so tight, and everybody had their, you know, their place to shine. You know, the horn solo, and then, but also the chord progressions were amazing by the piano. The drumming was just wonderful, and it's just like it felt a little. It obviously felt jazzy and fusiony, but it also had that kind of funk to it, you know. And I loved that they were like kind of like going down and then back up and down, you know. That is a word, I guess, in Spanish, or I don't know how you would say it, matiz in Latin, where you just, you know, you take all that intensity and lower it, and everybody gets kind of quieter. And I love when bands do that, you know. It's called matiz in Spanish. Let me look it up in English. Matizar. It means matizar. Let's see. see if there's like an English. There must be an English term for this, of course. Matizar. It doesn't, man. I'm just gonna look it up, but you know what I mean. You know, when the band just like, you know, lowers everything and everybody plays like quietly, and then they go back up. You know, so yeah, this was just wonderful too. Now Larry's gonna be on here. This is from a solo album, Firewire, and I'm gonna look it up. I want to see who's on here, but let's play it for now and let's get into it. See that palm muting. Bass, man. Beautiful tone. Love that the bass plays by itself here. Beautiful theme, back to the theme. What a great tune, man. Wow. Wow, man. That solo. I mean, the whole sound here. I love his distortion. It's, you know, it's not really a distortion. It's just an overdrive or some kind of fuzz, but it's so beautiful. I love the palm muting. It gives so much character to someone's playing. That what I got obsessed with when I heard with Aldi Meow, and he also was doing it on the acoustic guitar. So I would just practice that for hours to get that down, you know. Lay your palm on the strings and tick, 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 and you know, and then alternate pick, and it gives you that cool sound of like, and he does it, and then sometimes he doesn't do it. It gives you that variety to change your pickups, you know, when you play, when you solo, when you go back to rhythm. Guitar is such an amazing instrument, and there's so much sound to discover out of the instrument. And I think just, we don't even notice everything he does on the guitar every time he switches pickups and the tone. And, you know, you achieve so many different voices with your guitar, just messing with the tone, messing with the volume, you know, distorting it just by upping the volume. You don't even need distortion sometimes on your guitar. If it's loud enough, you can turn down your guitar, play, and then turn it up, and you have distortion by default. I love the solo when it, first of all, also the horn section and the bass, the horns and the bass, you know, carrying the tune. The drumming here was amazing. When the solo started, the first bar is not even, he doesn't even play anything, and that is such an amazing setup. It's just like boom, 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 the bass, you know, the bass by itself, and the guitar is quiet, and it's just like a beautiful setup for the solo's gonna come in. And then the way he came in with little, like, you know, prinklets of notes. And I love all that silence that he uses, you know, because that builds tension. The silence when he doesn't play, those are sometimes the best moments, because when he plays, it's such a rewarding thing, you know. And then just the way he tells that tale of the solo, and he's such a master in storytelling, that the solo, it's not just like all, you know. And I love, don't get me wrong, one of my favorite players, as you guys know, is Alan Holdsworth. But he, again, also, when he plays very, very fast and a lot of passages. And then he becomes very staccato, like even playing legato, but staccato in the telling of the guitar. You know, there's a lot of story. There's a lot of very, very slow sections. And I think Larry does that as well. Very, very well. And I mean, he's a master. What can you say? Just a beautiful song, beautiful instrumental. That's how you write instrumental music. I love that it came back to the whole, you know, theme that it was starting. The solo, we get the theme again, and we get an outro solo, and then we get that whole I think he was playing even without distortion at the end. Just wonderful, wonderful tune. No, Larry Carlton is, you know, one of the greats. I'm baffled that he doesn't have more listeners on it's below 200,000. It's like baffling to me that there's not more people listening to this genius, you know. Okay. Now let's move it along. We're gonna do Joe Sample. Now I know that he's the pianist. This is the Pecan Tree from the Pecan Tree album. Let's see what year this was. It says 2002. And let's start with the song. I'm gonna look up the info on Wikipedia. Those voices. these chords here building this tension. Wow, man. Wow. That percussionist is dominating. Wow, man. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about like the percussionist here for a second. He has so many albums that I couldn't even like find the Pecan tree. Let's see, let me try one more time. so much. Let's see, as a solo. And he has worked with Rod Stewart, and it's just like, let's see. Randy Crawford, Natalie Cole, Eric Clapton, Cher, George Benson, Anita Baker, B.B. King, Joni Mitchell, Steely Dan. Oh, he played on Asia and Gaucho. Well, I mean, I just loved, the percussion, how he was giving all this space. And I love, again, the way the foundation was set for this amazing improvisation. I loved how harmonically and melodically he plays, and then just he teases us with a little bit of outside playing, and then at the beginning of the song, these chords, these really, dominant chords, like kind of like on the edge of like being outside, but it's just like a little tease. I love that. And then, I mean, just everyone here is stellar. But when he takes that solo, I love that he's not just like improvising lines, but he also does a lot of chords, and at the end he was literally sticking to the chords. So it's not all flash, it's not all, it's also, the chords. And that's, I see some players, like yesterday we watched an Oscar Peterson video, and I love Oscar Peterson. I've known him since I was like 13, 14 years old because of my parents, but it was more flash. It was a lot of like, see what I can do. And he's a monster. He's literally a monster. He's so good, and he's so amazing. But what I love about this is he kind of like, yes, he did an improvisation, and he gave us a little bit of a taste what he can do, but he also, he played, like I said, very melodically, but also there was a lot of tension in there when he plays outside, that outside playing, and then those chords. It was just beautiful, like really, really. I can't wait for the next song, also by John Sample, from Hippies, from Old Places, Old Faces. I'm not surprised that this guy played with Steely Dan, one of the two most famous albums, Gaucho and Asia. Yeah, I guess those parts that I thought Donald was playing, Donald is another master. But yeah, let's keep going with Joe Sample, Hippies on a corner. Yeah, let's go. Wonderful music. I'm just in awe. I love that he has like a drummer and a percussionist. Again, very melodically now. So good. The piano and the bass working together. Bass player. What a great tune. I mean, I love his playing, man. I mean, man, I love how he like knows exactly what chords he's playing and then how to like play outside of these chords, but very, very, it just still sounds like you don't even notice. It's so, you know, it's so close to, it just doesn't sound like the typical, you know, major or minor scale. You know, it just like is kind of like, it's jazz, you know, and that's what they do. And I love this playing around, you know. I love the drum. It was so focused on the bass. And the bass was constantly doing like interjecting little things to make the song better. I love how much he lets his band breathe. The bass player, the drummer, the percussionist, and he kind of like holds it all together. And I love how he always starts with a little bit of a melody that's kind of like very easy to digest, and then there's some chords in there, and he kind of like, you know, opens them up a little, you know, makes them a little bit more bizarre, you know, but not too much, never to the point where you're like, what's going on? You know, it's always beautiful to listen to. It's very digestible. I guess in the jazz realm, because there's some jazz that you're like, what is going on? You know, where they go full hardcore, you know, like we're not even gonna, like, nobody's gonna understand what we're doing, but let's just do it. I love that this is still very, very digestible, but again, but not as much, like it's not, you know, like supermarket jazz, you know, like that stuff they play. Unfortunately, and I hate to say it, that some jazz is just too corny or too, it is almost like it is jazz, but is it really, you know, like some players, but this is, this is next level. So now we're gonna have Joe come together with Larry on a track by Michael Franks. And who knew that when I was listening to this when I was like 12 or 13 years old, that I would later in life, you know, really be a fan of Larry. I just met, you know, like I'm just aware of Joe sample right today with this marathon. That this is what I love about these videos, that I'm constantly learning. But who knew that I had listened this record. I'd heard this record, and I never thought that these players will someday mean something to me or make me even, you know, go and study harder, you know. So here we go with Michael Franks, The Art of Tea, and just like he described it, just like Scott described it, you know, Joe in one ear, Larry in the other, and then Michael's silky voice. And Michael Franks, I mean, he has just such an amazing voice, such an amazing artist. So let's go and let's go with Sometimes I Just Forget to Smile. Here we go. Okay, give me a second. Let's reopen Spotify. All right. Here we go. Second try.
Earthquakes and my bug breaks. You need lights to see through the smog. It's like D-Day out on the freeway. I'd like to crawl back under my log. All these Rolls-Royce hip roll down the Sunset Strip, just like pharaohs down the Nile. Sometimes I just forget to smile. Dog bites, lost kites. He says thanks, but he never says please. We both shave and we jump waves. Never has much skin on his knees. You know he's got the habit now for Peter Rabbit now and Disney crocodiles. Sometimes I just forget to smile.
Wonderful song.
doesn't know this. Jane and Tarzan just to run the 3-minute mile. But sometimes I just forget to smile.
Wow, man. What a great lyricist Michael Frank says, you know, it's so fun, you know. Let's see if I can pause it before. So let's just go through one of these lyrics here. Like, you know, it's like D-Day out on the freeway. I mean, it's like, you know, that chaotic and that bad, you know. I'd like to crawl back under my log. All these Rolls Royce hip roll down the Sunset Strip, just like pharaohs down the Nile. Sometimes I just forget to smile. I mean, it's like genius, you know. And that while Larry Carlton is playing like amazing, beautiful licks into your right ear and this amazing solo, and you know the chords by Joe. Wonderful tune, just wonderful. You know, what can you say? This whole marathon was amazing. Thank you so much, Scott, for choosing. I mean, I chose them myself, but you gave them to me. And I love that you get excited. You're like, what are you going to pick? You know, I love that because it's a kind of like almost like a waiting game. Like, what is he going to choose? Like, I gave him all these choices. What is he going to come up with? And that was it. And I think it was an amazing, you know, selection. And I couldn't go wrong with either. All these tunes were just destined, you know, to be amazing to me. And you know me, you know, that jazz is my favorite genre of music. That's what I enjoy the most also to play, because it's the most challenging, you know, genre. And you have to study. You have to study. Otherwise you won't, you know, get where you want to go. And that's just, I love that. Before I had to study to get good at rock and blues and metal and all that stuff. But then there comes a time where you're like, okay, you have to go back to practicing and reading and all that good stuff, you know. And I just love it. So again, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for being here. I hope you like this marathon. Please comment. Please like the video. Dislike the video if you didn't like it. I mean, that way we at least know what people like. But yeah, comment and let us know what you think, so we can decide to make another one of these marathons. You know, I hope there will be a part 2 or part 3. And just, I hope there will be more people that come to this channel to enjoy jazz music and the breakdowns. And I know most of you guys already know what I'm talking about. You know, I guess it's just, you know, the joy of maybe just seeing me like light up because I'm loving it so much. So again, thank you so much for sponsoring this, Scott. This was wonderful. This was the highlight of my day so far. I just love this kind of music. I love these players. I love how amazing they are, how creative they are. What they put on tape is just fantastic. You know, it's just like wonderful. So thanks again so much. Thanks everybody for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one.